Hey everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Dr. Angel Storm. Thanks so much for joining me. Today I am talking about a topic that is one everybody needs to know about. It's something that doesn't just apply to people who have been in narcissistic relationships or who have family members or who are dealing with a narcissist on an ongoing basis. This is something that every single person needs to know about. And if you know anything about my channel, I'll often tell you to not binge watch my channel. Don't over consume the information that is in this channel. I want you to really be mindful of the things that you're consuming. But this video is something that everybody should be aware of. And this topic is the number one reason why you stay in abusive situations. And again, the reason that this is so important is because it's going to apply to everybody. Everybody has at some point in their life stayed in a situation where it was toxic. That person or that business, that corporation, that environment may not have been filled up with narcissistic abuse, but it was an unhealthy environment. There's a reason that you stayed there. And this is the number one reason why people stay in unhealthy environments, in abusive situations, and in toxic relationships. And that reason is because it's more convenient to believe that the person can change, or that that culture can change, or that that environment will be influenced by your presence to shift it. It's easier for you to accept that what you're experiencing is not how that person truly is, or what their core being is, or what that what the value system of that company is, whatever the situation may be. The reason for this is because we as humans are wired to go on the path of least resistance. We need to create a feeling of security around us. And to do that, we need to be wired to accept people into our society. So we need to be wired to trust people. And we want to find commonalities with people. So we think most often people are like us. People will have the same values as us. People will have the same communication styles as us. People will have the same goals as us, when that's simply not true. When you look back at the narcissist and why you stayed in that relationship so long, or why it took you so long to go no contact, or maybe you're still in the relationship right now and you're debating about what to do. And the number one reason why you're not willing to cut ties or to leave that situation is because you don't want to accept that this is how that person truly is. You don't want to write something off as a failure or a loss. And it's easier to continue to make excuses and justify why you're staying than it is to face the situation, admit the facts, and do something different. Doing something different may require you to step out into the unknown. And for a lot of people, the risk of the unknown is too great to take that leap. And most people do end up staying in this situation way past the time when they should have left. And it simply is because humans are made to find comfort. We want to go down, again, the path of least resistance. And kind of the enemy that I do know is better than the enemy I don't know. And so while you may know what the situation is, your reason for staying is never because life could be better if I left. That might be a true statement, and you might be willing to accept that as a fact. Yes, my life might be better if I left, but it's still an unknown. How to build that life is still unknown, and so it's easier to stay where you are. And I know I'm going to have a lot of people saying, yeah, but I have financial issues with leaving. I can't leave because I can't afford it, or I don't have any place to go, or whatever the situation may be. But the truth is that if you wanted to leave, you would find a way to do it. And I'm certainly not trying to shame you or guilt you for the situation that you're at, but I do want to uncover lies that you have come into agreement with, falsities that you are believing that is holding you back from doing your purpose. You were not made to be a doormat. You weren't meant to be somebody's narcissistic supply. That wasn't the reason that you're created. And the quicker that you can accept the fact that you are powerful and that you have the power to get your dreams, to go after your goals and achieve them, then the quicker you'll be able to adopt the mindset of that person, the one who is going after their goals, the one who is pursuing their dreams, the one who is making different choices, the one who is getting out of the situation and finding a way to forge a path forward. Another main reason why people don't leave is because they have children with a narcissist and they've heard horror stories about family court. And I personally can attest to the absolute atrocities that can happen there. But the fact of the matter is that if you don't take a risk, then nothing will change. Nothing changes unless something changes, right? So nothing changes if nothing doesn't change, and you're the only person who can cause that chain of event to occur. One of the things that I like my clients to really understand is, number one, this needs to be your decision, whether you stay or leave. That's absolutely your choice, and you're a powerful person, and you can make that choice fully and capably. You are capable of making that decision. No one else is capable of making it. And ultimately, nobody has to live with the consequences of staying or leaving other than you. So that choice is fully yours. But one of the important things to understand about narcissistic abuse is that it doesn't ever hit a plateau. So even if things seem to be good right now, there seems to be zero escalation to your situation, that is certainly not going to be the case forever. And the reason for this is because the narcissist is learning, which I've talked about before in my channel, in the videos that I've done on my channel, is that the narcissist is learning where your pain points are right now and how far they can push you past those limits. A lot of people will say, I've set boundaries with the narcissist, but they didn't listen to my boundaries. Okay, that is called a suggestion. A boundary will always have a consequence associated with it. If you break this boundary, then there's a consequence. And likewise, if you honor this boundary, there's a consequence. Trust is either built or destroyed upon what boundaries are upheld or torn down in relationships of all kinds. It's not just romantic relationships. This is the foundation of how we build trust in relationships. And so with a narcissist, what you did was you set a suggestion. You didn't actually enforce that boundary. And so the narcissist is learning, okay, they don't enforce the boundary here. How about over here? Okay, how about this one? How about that one? So the narcissist is constantly going to be blowing through your boundaries, which are really suggestions because there's no consequence attached to them. And they're also learning where you are willing to compromise your own values. And the narcissist is doing this strategically because they want to rewrite your value system. They want you to think, okay, that's not that bad. And they will often do things which you would consider very terrible, but then they will up that, right, by like 10 points. And that one is way worse than this other one. And so then this one doesn't look so bad. And the narcissist is constantly getting you to shift around your own values, your own goals, and your own tolerance levels for abuse in the relationship. And this continues over time. So imagine how this will destroy somebody's sense of being, sense of belonging, their sense of agency over time. This is destroying who that person is at a foundational level. And so the person who's in that situation, of course, will think there isn't another option for me because their sense of power has been taken away. What I'm asking you to do in this video is to really take a look at what is going on in the relationship. We have a tendency to really remember the good times, right? And these love bombing phases are going to be so intense. And again, that's also done strategically. The narcissist isn't just happening to do that. They understand what is going on chemically, emotionally, neurologically. When they do love bombing followed by a devaluation phase, they understand that they're forming a trauma bond and that this is strengthening their hold over you. They understand that this is further isolating you because you're no longer who you used to be when you were hanging out with your friends or you had hobbies and a life that you enjoyed participating in. The narcissist knows that this is what's happening. The actual issue is that you don't want to admit that the narcissist understands what they are doing. And I know a lot of people think the narcissist doesn't understand that that's what they're doing. Then what I would have you ask yourself is, did you already try telling them you don't like it? Did you already try telling them not to do that? Did you already try having a conversation in some way, shape, or form about their behavior? And if you did that, then what was the outcome of that conversation? Because chances are, if that conversation went well, you wouldn't be watching this video anyway. So there's obviously something that you're not willing to admit to yourself, which is that, no, they do know because I told them. So even if you think they didn't know until that point, okay. But now they have the information and they're still choosing to behave this way towards you. And it's really important that you understand the power to stop the abuse. You do have it. You do have that power. You can choose to leave and make a different life for yourself at any point in time. One of the things that I want to make sure people understand is if there is a case to have a restraining order made, please see a domestic violence shelter when you're filing the paperwork with a court. The court looks favorably on having a third party fill out restraining order paperwork. So if you are interested or if you feel there is a need to have such a thing put in place, please be sure to consult a third party. You need to go see another agency to help you file this paperwork with the court. So please just consult with them if you need this type of protection in your life. And they will help you with the injunction process. And ultimately, when people are on the edge of making the decision if they should stay or go, a lot of times people think they've been pushed to their brink, but then the narcissist will do something to kind of change their behavior. Again, this goes back to the love bombing phase, but nonetheless, the narcissist will do something to change their behavior, and so then they reconsider whether or not they can actually just live with the abuse, or if something does need to change, if they do need to leave the narcissist. And what I like to tell them when they're at this point is to consider the cost. What is the cost of living with an abuser for the next, let's say, 10 years until your kids are grown up? Or what is the cost of living with them for the next several years until you can save up money to leave, versus taking a risk and doing it now? What is the overall damage going to be? I'm just not talking only about monetarily. What will be the cost emotionally on you and mentally on you and your children? Who will you be in 3 to 5 years or in 10 years when your child is old enough and is out of the house? What have you taught your child? What have you demonstrated to that child in that amount of time? So there's a lot of factors that go into it, but the primary thing that I want people to know from this video is that you are very powerful, and you aid the abuse when you lie to yourself. And so I'm asking you to be honest with yourself about the situation that you're going through and be aware of what it is. See it for how it truly is. You aren't required to make excuses for your abuser. You aren't required to protect and defend the reputation of somebody who's an abuser. You're actually not just promoting the abuse towards yourself, but you're allowing an abuser to be present further in society, to continue to find other victims, because the narcissist will have multiple sources. And so if you find yourself in a toxic environment, if you find yourself in an abusive relationship, count the cost, truly count the cost of what it means to stay there. And whether the unknown is worth that risk of leaving versus the certainty of staying but being abused. So I hope this video really helps you understand why you don't want to see things for the way they are, or why it's easier to pretend that the narcissist will change or that this toxic person will change, versus you taking action and taking control back over your life and your time and your destiny. And if you know somebody who needs to see this video, please share it with them. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel below.